Have you ever felt guilty for wanting more out of life? Like you're somehow bad for being ambitious, competitive, or unapologetically confident? What if I told you that the reason you feel that guilt is because society taught you to feel it? That your sense of good and bad may not come from reason or truth, but from centuries of hidden power struggles, buried deep in moral history? Today, we're diving into one of the most radical, dangerous, and liberating ideas ever put forward by a philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche's claim that your morals might be making you weak. Stay with me to the end, because this isn't just about philosophy. It's about how you live, and how you could live if you had the courage to see your beliefs for what they really are. 1. Master morality versus slave morality, the foundation of Nietzsche's ethics. Nietzsche believed that not all morality was created equally. In fact, he argued that there were two entirely different moral systems at play in human history: master morality and slave morality. Master morality comes from those who are strong, powerful, and self-assured. In ancient aristocratic cultures, think Roman nobles, ancient warriors, and creators, the good was defined by noble qualities: strength, pride, ambition, creativity, and power. These individuals didn't need external validation. They simply lived in alignment with what they considered worthy, and they called it good. Slave morality, by contrast, emerged from those who lacked power. Instead of challenging the strong directly, the powerless redefined morality itself. According to Nietzsche, they began to label the traits of the powerful as evil, and their own submission, weakness, and humility as good. In doing so, they created a moral reversal, a psychological defense mechanism called ressentiment, or resentment turned morality. In essence, Nietzsche believed that modern morality, rooted in compassion, equality, and humility, was not born from virtue, but from revenge. The weak rewrote the rules to morally shame the strong, and over centuries this slave morality became the dominant moral lens in the Western world. 2. Ressentiment, the poison of the powerless. Ressentiment is one of Nietzsche's most psychologically piercing ideas. It's the emotional foundation of slave morality. But what exactly is it? Imagine someone who feels helpless and inferior, but lacks the strength or courage to act. Instead of changing their situation, they begin to resent those who thrive. Over time, that resentment gets moralized. The rich are greedy, the confident are arrogant, the dominant are toxic. The individual justifies their inaction by making it seem morally superior. Nietzsche believed that resentment is not just an emotion, it's a social disease. It teaches people to envy instead of grow, to submit instead of rise. It's a quiet, inward hatred disguised as virtue, and it's everywhere, in politics, religion, and culture. This is why Nietzsche argued that most modern people aren't truly moral, they're morally resentful. They've inherited values shaped by weakness, not strength. And as long as you don't recognize it, you'll keep living under those values without even realizing who's benefiting from your guilt. 3. The transvaluation of values, the morality reversal. Nietzsche called the shift from master to slave morality the transvaluation of values. This wasn't just a change in what society believed. It was a total inversion of what was considered noble, worthy, and good. Before this reversal, strength, vitality, and excellence were celebrated. But afterward, those same qualities were demonized. Nietzsche saw this as a kind of spiritual sabotage, a quiet revolution where the weak took control, not by power, but by moral manipulation. This transformation wasn't just theoretical, It had real consequences. It led to the rise of moral systems that encouraged submission, guilt, and sacrifice over greatness, independence, and creativity. For Nietzsche, this marked the beginning of the decline of Western culture's spirit. And the worst part? Most people never notice the switch. They grow up thinking humility is always good, that pride is always sinful, that comfort is always preferable to suffering. But Nietzsche wanted us to wake up, because only by recognizing this inversion could we begin the process of reclaiming our own value systems. 4. Herd morality, the death of the individual. Nietzsche often used the term the herd to describe society under slave morality. When people stop thinking for themselves and start adopting moral rules just because everyone agrees, they become part of the herd. Herd morality is seductive. It promises safety, acceptance, and simplicity, but it comes at a steep cost, the death of the individual. In the herd, you're not supposed to stand out. You're not supposed to question. You're supposed to fit in, obey, and feel bad for even wanting to be different. Nietzsche despised this kind of moral laziness. He believed that to be truly human, you had to be willing to stand outside the herd, to suffer, to think, to risk rejection for the sake of truth and self-overcoming. True morality isn't inherited from the masses. It's forged by individuals brave enough to create their own values. This, he believed, is the only path to authenticity, and it's one most people will never dare to take. 5. The Übermensch, creating your own morality. So what's the alternative? What does Nietzsche propose instead of traditional morality? Enter the Übermensch, the overman or superman. This is Nietzsche's vision of an evolved human being, someone who doesn't accept morality as given, but instead creates their own values from the ground up. The Übermensch doesn't live by fear or guilt, he lives by will. The will to power, the will to create, the will to live authentically. He doesn't conform to society's standards of good. He defines what's good based on what enhances life, what strengthens the self, and what expresses truth. This isn't about selfishness or domination. It's about self-overcoming, rising above the inherited mental framework and forging something new. The Übermensch is the artist of morality, and Nietzsche believed that becoming such a person was the ultimate human calling. 6. Why this still matters today. It's easy to think of Nietzsche's ideas as relics of the 19th century, bold, radical theories from a long-dead philosopher. But the truth is, his insights are more relevant now than ever before. We live in a world saturated with moral messaging. From social media activism to corporate virtue signaling, we're constantly being told what is good, what is evil, what we should believe. But Nietzsche would ask, who decides this? Are these values rooted in truth and strength? Or are they products of herd mentality, shaped to keep us obedient and non-threatening? Take a closer look at modern culture, and you'll start to see Nietzsche's warnings unfold. Ambition is often framed as selfishness. Assertiveness is rebranded as toxicity. Confidence is labeled arrogance. People are encouraged to dim their light so others don't feel overshadowed. But what if, in trying to avoid being bad, we've lost touch with what it means to be truly alive? Nietzsche saw this as a spiritual crisis, a slow death of the individual soul under the weight of moral conformity. When we blindly follow inherited values, we trade authenticity for comfort and purpose for approval. This is why Nietzsche's message still matters. It challenges you to reclaim your inner compass, not by rejecting all morality, but by interrogating it. Are your beliefs leading you toward personal strength, responsibility, and creation? Or are they making you smaller, more dependent, more afraid? This isn't just about philosophy, it's about your life, your choices, your destiny. Nietzsche isn't asking you to become a villain. He's daring you to become yourself, fully, honestly, and powerfully. In a time when groupthink dominates and authenticity is rare, this might be the most radical thing you can do. Your morality isn't just about right and wrong. It's about who you're becoming. So ask yourself, are you choosing your values, or were they chosen for you? If this video made you think, even if it made you uncomfortable, then that's the point. Nietzsche didn't want believers, he wanted questioners. So if you're one of them, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment below. Has morality made us better, or has it made us weaker? And remember, the bravest thing you can do isn't to follow the rules. It's to ask, who wrote them, and why? Until next time, stay questioning, stay evolving.